In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and greetings. This is Muhammad Suleiman Ahmadzai, here with a new session for you, my friends. Alright, for now, we can review the screenshot deposit, which we covered yesterday, or that shortcut for print screen, print screen. We can also use other methods, which are related to the Snip and Sketch program. We've already explained this, since its function is basically the same as the other one. The only difference is that this one is for Windows 10 and 11. That means, in Windows 7, we didn't have this feature. Instead, we had something called the snipping tool. In the description of this as well, it's mentioned that Snip and Sketch is one of the features of Windows, which is used for capturing, taking screenshots, or taking pictures of the computer screen or the screens of programs on the computer. Before we actually go into the program itself, first I'll tell you about two other ways that we can use to take screenshots with this Snip and Sketch program. First, when you right-click on the taskbar. Here, we have something called Show Windows Ink Workspace button. We activate this. When we activate this, an Ink Workspace button like this will appear here. You can use this to take a screenshot. When you click on it, it asks us, what do you want to do? We select Full Screen Snip, and by clicking on Full Screen Snip, it takes a screenshot of your computer screen and directly transfers that image to this built-in program we're learning about called Snip and Sketch. So, this is the first method of taking a screenshot in this program. The second method is through this section, which is called the Action Center. Here, we have a button called Screen and Snip. Sometimes, well, it's mostly shown here so we can understand what happens from here. This can be turned on and off. If it's not there, we can look for it. That's the same thing we're going to do. It's also possible that sometimes it's not here. Again, if you want, you go to the Manage Notifications section. If we want the command itself to be shown, we go here. What do I do with all these options? I unpin them. Now, it won't show up there anymore. So now, if we go to the Action Center, we'll see that there's nothing called Screen Snip at all. So from here, you click Edit again. Click on Add. You tell it that we need Screen Snip, and you select it from here. So if it's not there, it means it's been disabled from here. Alright, this is the second method we can use to take a screenshot. We go to this section, select Screen Snip from there. We specify, meaning I want this part to be captured as a photo. Directly, that specific part gets its picture taken. This gets transferred here, and as soon as you click, try to note that a copy of this is also saved in the clipboard. What is the clipboard? I'll explain that to you later. When you click on the Snip and Sketch, it opens the same image in the Snip program. Alright, before I explain the clipboard to you, notice that down here there was a message saying a copy has been sent to the clipboard. I'll give you more information about that again. So, what exactly is the clipboard? Windows key plus V. When we press Windows key plus V, a page called the clipboard opens up like this. The clipboard is the memory where our copied items are stored. On this page, anything we cut or copy on the computer, wherever it is, its memory, that is, where it gets saved, is actually stored in the clipboard. How can we open it? We can also go with you to the search here and type it in. For example, clipboard. Here, you just click inside. From here, it brings up your clipboard. You can also open its settings from here. We'll read its settings in their place. When we go deeper here, we have a setting related to the clipboard. I'll also tell you later what things it can do. How can we use it, and what is its function? Well, for now, it shows this shortcut, Windows key plus V. When you press Windows plus V, the clipboard opens for you. It shows everything that has been copied or cut. For example, let's say I open the Paint program. For example, in the Paint program, we have a picture here. I select this picture, and why do I do that? To copy. This picture has been copied. For example, you go to another program. Let's say you open Word. When you hit Paste, this picture will be pasted right here for you. How did this picture get here? How is it possible that when you move from one program to another, the same picture gets transferred? Actually, we have something called the clipboard. The clipboard is the memory for cut and copy. Whenever we cut or copy something, our items get saved in the clipboard. We can open the clipboard shortcut from here. Clipboard. The clipboard is now open. It shows us what has happened inside it. we have one object copied. So if we want to open the clipboard on the computer screen, what do? Very easily. When we press the Windows key plus V, it shows me that you have the computer screen inside the clipboard. Actually, we have 3 things copied. That means we've copied 3 things. Whenever we go to any program and hit paste, it pastes from here. If we want to clear it from memory again, from here, we can also select one and say delete, and it will only delete that one item. If we choose clear all, then everything will be completely erased from its memory. When we've cleared the memory, and if I go into any program and, like I said before, try to paste, nothing will be pasted. Now, if we come here and try to paste, it shouldn't work anymore. Here too, it has a shortcut key option. When I try to paste, it doesn't work, because in the clipboard memory, since the clipboard is the memory for cut and copy. When we've cleared it from the memory, obviously the paste key won't work. So, paste actually only works when we've cut or copied something and it's been transferred to the clipboard. Alright, now let's get to the topic of our videos. So, how do we open the Sketch program? Those 2 methods I mentioned at the end were just shortcuts for one thing. But where do we actually open the program itself? We go to the Start menu. I had told you that you would come down to the list at the bottom. Here, from the Windows Accessories section, you would find it there. That's right, but it's not here. That's Main. Click here. Click at the top section. Category S. Category S. 1 scan. We have. Meaning, if we go even further down. Okay, let's find Category S. It's here, but I told you the easier way. Here, when you click on Category S, it brings up the directory for you. We open this. Or you can just go there directly and in the Category S section. S. Right-click. If you tell it to pin to Start, it will pin it to your Start menu. If you tell it to pin to the taskbar, it will pin it to the taskbar. We've brought this into the Start menu. We can use the Start menu next time. There's an easier way, which is to go to the Search section. Here, we just type an S. When we type that, you see it brings up the tool for us. S. It also brings up Sketch for us. Alright, now we're inside our program. What do we call this section here? We call it the title bar or caption bar. This other part here is called the toolbar. This other part is called the control box or caption button. This menu that appears here when you right-click. These are what we call context menus that we bring up ourselves. A small window that pops up. This is called a screen tip. When we take a screenshot, to take a screenshot, we can use the Windows key plus Shift plus S. Just like it's shown here. So, the easiest way is to press the Windows key with Shift and S. This way, a window appears on the screen. We select this part and capture it. In the end, the picture is taken and transferred to the screen sketch page. Well, if the image is very zoomed in, here we have something called a scroll bar. This one is called the vertical scroll bar, and the other one is called the horizontal scroll bar. This one is called the vertical scroll bar. Sometimes you don't need them. They are shown as disabled. So that's it. The program interface. The way to open it is through the interface. How does it work? I told you about the shortcut, that even if we don't go into the program at all, besides the shortcut I mentioned like print screen and Alt plus print screen, it has another shortcut which I also told you about. Windows key plus Shift plus S. You click this. After that, you specify your selection here, choosing how you want to take the screenshot. For example, if I choose rectangle, it means the part 1 select will be in a square or rectangular shape. The difference between a square and a rectangle is that if the width and length you select are equal, it's called a square. If the width or the length is greater, it's called a rectangle. Alright, you make your selection. Try to select in a square or rectangular shape. Our first selection, our second selection. What's the difference? Again, I press Windows key and Shift. This second one, lets us select in a freeform shape. That means it doesn't have a square selection. You select in a freeform way. Wherever we select, what does the system do? It makes a selection, and this time it tries to select in a freeform shape. Well, the third selection, the third method, is the active window. Like I told you yesterday, it only takes a screenshot of the active window. Again, we press Windows and Shift and make the selection. On top of the active window, as soon as you click, it only takes a screenshot of the window that's currently active. There's a problem. Do you think it did this because of the recording? I mean, our goal was to take a screenshot of just one window, not the whole full screen. This is happening because of the issues we're currently having with the recording. Once I stop the recording, I'll show you that it shouldn't do this. I'm pressing the Windows plus Shift plus S keys again. Look, this time it's the full screen screenshot. Yeah, obviously. It took a screenshot of the entire screen. The WordPad window and the previous window. There's no problem with this one because we had set it to full screen. But in the third command, we only have a screenshot of this action. So, exactly when we press Windows plus Shift plus S, this third one shouldn't take a screenshot of the whole screen. In the previous video lesson, I also showed you that this command worked in a way that it should only take a screenshot of this page. Only the page we clicked on, but as you can see, it took a screenshot of the whole thing, and that's a problem because our recording is ongoing. Although after this, there is still another technique we can use. So even if it does this, we can, for example, use the crop tool and specify with the crop tool, saying, well, since I only needed this much of the workspace and didn't need the surrounding area, I'll select it again and confirm it for this. Now, this one has done that too, so regarding that shortcut I mentioned to you yesterday. Among the Windows shortcuts, Shift plus S is another shortcut that's used for recording. Well, if we don't use the shortcut, we can still go ahead. For example, we can open Screen Sketch here. Then here, we come and try to select first. Save now. Try to select if we do it with delay. I had mentioned this to you in the previous version in Snipping tool as well, where we could select a delay between 1 to 5 seconds. Here again, we have two options. One is 3 seconds. The other is 10 seconds. For example, if I select a 3-second delay, try it, and it waits 3 seconds on the screen. After 3 seconds, the screen appears. We can capture it then. In the same way, we could select it to wait 10 seconds and then capture as well. In the previous version, I also told you there are two things. These things aren't very useful. We use the synchronized one. Snap now. Here, after we come and press this button, we said to capture the full screen, the entire page, or just the active window that we're currently in, or select it in freeform shape or as a square or rectangle. We take a screenshot of the scene and transfer the image to you in this program. Alright, after this part that we had here, we go to a section called New. Here, we have another thing called Open. Suppose you want to save this picture. We have a button called Save. When we save the picture, if we ever need it again, we can open the original of that picture. For example, I saved it under the name Assad. Try it. If we go to the desktop, you'll see that our copied picture has been saved on the desktop under the name Assad. If you ever need this same picture again, you can open it here. For example, this is a picture. You want to open it again. We go to Open. We tell it what to do. We say, we have a file named Assad, a picture that was previously taken as a screenshot. Open it up. It will open the original version of the picture for you again. If you had made any changes to this picture, it will remove those changes. If you redo, it will bring those changes back. There are also the shortcuts for Ctrl-Z and Ctrl-Y. We can use these. Alright, after this section, after the buttons we have here in the toolbar section, the middle part of the toolbar, and on the left side of the toolbar there were also a few buttons. In the middle part of the toolbar, we have several keys. The first key doesn't work on my laptop for now. If touch writing is enabled on computers or laptops that have a touch screen, if this is enabled, you can write on the screen with your finger. If this is disabled, it still won't work, for now, whether it's enabled or disabled. It doesn't work on my computer. That's because my computer isn't a touch screen. Alright, so we have this little pen here. Here, we have a little pen. We can change the size of the pen tip and choose its color. When I write, it appears in that color, or if it's a pencil, we can use the pencil tool. We can also choose the size of the pen tip. We also have a highlighter, so we can use the highlighter to mark and highlight any parts we want as a kind of indicator. And there's another tool we call the eraser. Again, if we want to erase something. Try it. It erases things one by one. It really does erase one by one. It erases each item individually, but if you want to erase everything at once, you can also tell it to erase all ink. No matter how much work you've done on this page, you just say erase all ink and it will clear everything. There's another topic. For example, let's say you want to crop this picture. Just like we did earlier. For instance, we only need the bottom half of this specific part. We don't need the rest. So you select the crop area. Then there are two buttons, Cancel and OK. If you hit Cancel, it exits this mode. If you hit OK, it crops to the selected area. Now, after cropping, we have something else here, a ruler icon. This ruler has a specific function. For example, try taking another screenshot from the screen to get a bigger picture. Let's say we wanted to select this much area for us. Now, we've taken a somewhat larger picture. Here, for instance, you might want to draw lines one by one. For example, you might want to draw a line or maybe a circle or something. If we use these measurement units, it makes our work much easier. Suppose I want to draw a straight line. No matter how hard we try, we can't draw a perfectly straight line. But if we use these measurement units, we have a ruler, or for example, we can use a compass. For instance, to draw a circle by foot. So if we say, for example, that I need a straight line, I place my ruler at a specific spot. Then I pick up my pencil. So when we draw along this line, it creates a very straight and neat line. You see, when we use the ruler to draw, if I had drawn without a ruler, you'd see that our line wouldn't be as straight. It's the same with circles. Suppose, for example, you need to draw a circle. Now try to imagine when we want to, for instance, say I need to work with a 180-degree angle. 170-something degrees. Basically, you specify the exact degree you need for your circle, how big the circle should be. You see. Now, if we turn this off. You see, now this circle we drew, or the straight line we drew. If we didn't use measuring units, these rulers, or these measuring tools, we wouldn't be able to draw such a straight line or such a perfect circle. With a button we have called Zoom, we can zoom in and zoom out on our image. Actual size shows you the image in its original size. Save works just like before, saving the image. Copy copies the image for you. After that, in any program you want, you can paste it and use it as a picture. See, it copied the image. And in our place, we have something called Poetry. If we want to share this image with someone, or share it via email, or through apps like Instagram, WhatsApp, Skype, or other programs, we can use this option. Here, we also have something called Open With. We can tell it to open this image for us with other programs. With Paint 3D, or sometimes other programs. We click OK, and it opens the image in that program. We have a print section if we want to print this image. We can print it. These are options we've already covered. With Send Feedback, we can give feedback to Microsoft about the program or any issues that exist in the program. Tips and Tricks gives us some information. It also teaches us some techniques, but it only works when you are connected to the internet. And we have another section called Settings, or General Options, which opens the general settings of the program. Here, first it says Auto Copy to Clipboard. Earlier, I showed you how the clipboard works, and its Windows shortcut key. Anything we copy will automatically be copied here as well. Why does it show up here too? It's because this button is enabled. Second, here is Save Snips, which means if it's enabled, whenever you exit Snip and Sketch, it always gives you a message asking if you want to save the image or not. It always asks you with a message. If it's turned off, it won't ask you with that message. For example, let's say I just took a screenshot of this blade from the screen. Now it says, for instance, the image is here with us. Right, it's here. But we haven't saved the image yet. As long as we haven't saved it, try to notice that when I click Close, it gives a warning like this. Are you sure you want to continue? Again, it asks whether you want to save the image or not. If you click Continue, the image won't be saved, but if you click Cancel, you can still save the image later. So, what's the reason that, for now, it keeps asking us that message? The reason is exactly this button that we've activated. If this is enabled, then it won't show us that prompt anymore. Another feature is multiple windows. Here it says that every time you take a screenshot, each screenshot will be displayed in a separate window, meaning it saves them as separate pages. If this is enabled, it still won't do this. What does it mean to separate the pages? For example, now we've opened Snip and Sketch. Here we say, I'm going to take a picture. Just like that, I've taken a picture from this spot. This itself becomes one image. Now again, we go and say, I want to take a second picture. Again, we can either press the shortcut or use another method. Okay, I press the shortcut. Windows key plus Shift plus S. Again, we come and say, this time, why do I need another picture from this spot? Let's try to save the second picture separately, so it opens in a new, separate page. Each of these is separate, meaning both of them didn't open in the same window. This screenshot that we took opened in a separate window, and the other screenshot we took also opened in a separate window. The reason it did this was because here, we had told it to show each snip in a separate window for us. Another thing we have here is that whenever we take a screenshot of a page, we want there to be a border around it, whether there should be an outline or not. If there is, how thick should that line be and what color should it be? We say it should be red and the thickness should be just like this. If we turn it off, then there won't be any border. Alright, for now let's keep it on and see how it works. But try to go to this page and take a screenshot, capture an image. It should show a red border around it. For example, let's do this. I come here and click on New. I say I want to take a screenshot from this section. Try taking a screenshot. You'll see its border too. A thick red border appears in front of our image. What's the reason it shows this? It's because we had set it to red and chose this thickness for it. If we turn it off, it means we don't want any border or that same thickness at all. We actually don't want that red line or that border. Now try to tell it that we want to take a screenshot. Now try it. It's just the image, and there's no border or red lines in front of it at all. Alright, the last part is here. This is the section with information about the app itself. So you can do this in Windows 10 and Windows 11 as well. What can we do basically? We can take a screenshot. And finally, dear friends, we kindly ask that if you found the videos helpful, please like the videos to support us and help the channel grow, subscribe to the channel, and we hope to see you in the next sessions. Goodbye.